Yo everyone, hope all is well. If you have me on other social platforms, you'll know that I'm into meme coins. I haven't actually posted about meme coins on YouTube. This is the first video that I will be posting, and obviously more to come if this sort of content is what you guys like. Now, if you're new to the channel, most of my videos are raw, so I'm not going to be cutting anything. So if you hear me stutter or there's gaps, just forgive me. I'm trying to have a normal, genuine conversation with you. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you the 3-step process that I personally take when it comes to finding meme coins in early stages. And by early stages, I mean released within the past 5, 10, 20 minutes, right? Because that's when you want to be buying meme coins for you to get the 5, 10, 20x's. Okay, so it's 3 steps, and these 3 steps, what you're aiming for is to not get burned, to not get rugged, right? Because at the end of the day, the aim is to make a lot of money. But one of the biggest priorities for you as someone who's traded meme coins is to minimize losses, right? Because when you minimize losses, inevitably you will make more money. But if you learn how to make a lot of money with meme coins, but you don't know how to minimize losses, you're just going to be making a lot of money and then losing a lot of money at the same time. And that's not how you're meant to be trading meme coins. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3-step process as to how I find meme coins, how I rug check them, and so on and so forth, the tools I use. And yeah, hopefully it all makes sense by the end. Now, as you can see, I'm on Dex Screener. If you don't know what Dex Screener is, it's a platform where you can obviously look at all the meme coins that are just launching. There's some websites that might be better than Dex Screener. I personally just like Dex Screener because it's the one I started using from the beginning. Now, what I've clicked for me to go onto this page is on the left here. You'll see it says new pairs. Just click on that. It'll take you to a page like this. And then what I've done is I've clicked age in order to sort it by age. So you'll notice that if I refresh, it's just randomly like assorted basically. But if I click age, it will first do it in a descending order, and then if I click it again, it'll do it ascending. So the ones that just released are getting put at the top of the list. Now, I personally trade mainly Solana meme coins. I do touch base here and there, or ton. I don't really touch Ethereum meme coins, so if you're here just for that, it's probably not the right place. But yeah, we're just going to focus on Solana for now. Now, as you can see here, this one released 10 minutes ago. So what I do for the first step is pretty self-explanatory. I check for the main key aspects of, is the liquidity locked, and is mint authority enabled or disabled. Now, there's a few other things here and there, like sell tax, for example, which I'll explain in just a second. But the main 2 things I look out for before I move on to step 2 is liquidity locked and is mint authority enabled, which I'm going to explain. So liquidity is obviously how much, in the simplest terms, how much money is in the coin in order for you to be able to obviously withdraw, or for you to, how much money is there for you to be able to take out. Because if there's no liquidity in the token, even if you were to make $1 million off that token, you wouldn't be able to take it out because there's no liquidity in it, right? It's like a bank account. If you want to withdraw £1 million out of a bank account that only has £1, you're not going to be able to withdraw, right? So liquidity is how much money is within the token. Now, the reason why we want it to be locked is because whoever the owner, or what we call the dev of the token, whoever the dev of the token is, if the liquidity is not locked, they can take out all that liquidity at any point in time, which then leads to a rug, right? Hence why you always hear rug pulls or pump and dumps and so on and so forth. That's someone literally, it's like pulling the rug, right? That's what they mean. If you've got someone standing on a rug and you pull the rug so fast, they're gonna end up dropping. That's what they say when they mean rug pull. You got what I mean? So when liquidity is locked, the developer can't take that money out. So as you can see here, it says 36K liquidity. Now that's a combination of what the dev has put in it initially, as well as whoever's bought into the coin, and now that's the liquidity as a whole. You want that to be locked. Now there's a few ways on how to check how it's locked, if it's locked. As you can see here on Dex Screener, it has the lock sign and it's fully green around it. That means it's locked. You can even click on it and it will say 100% locked. Let me show you an example of when it's not locked. So I presume maybe this one might not be locked. Let's say maybe this one as well. Okay, this one is locked. That one is locked. Let's try find one that's not locked. Give me a second. So that's locked. That's locked. That's locked. Why is it so hard to find an unlocked one right now? Give me a second. But you know what? I know what to do. Cool. Let's try do this. All right. So as you can see here, this one's not locked. You click on it, you can't even click on it. Like nothing comes up. Right? There's no green circle. There's no padlock. Nothing like that. Meaning the liquidity is not locked. Now you might look at this and think, oh wow, 216 million market cap. That has nothing. Like market cap, it's a good indicator of like I'll explain later on in the video what we use market cap for. But seeing a coin with high market cap doesn't automatically determine that, oh, this is a great coin, right? Because market cap can be set from the get-go, right? So, and by the developer, by the way. Okay, that one's locked. But yeah, you get the point. Like it'll either be unlocked or locked. Now, sometimes what people try to do, it doesn't really work that well. So people don't usually do it anymore. But sometimes what people will do is they will lock 0.01% of liquidity. So the padlock is still there, but you'll notice there's no green circle. It's like slightly green. You want to avoid those type of coins, right? Because the liquidity is not locked. They still have 99.9% of it unlocked, meaning they can rug pull it at any time. I don't know who falls for that, but in case you are the type of person to fall for it, just make sure it's fully green around it. Now, there's times that a coin will launch, and let's say it's been 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that green circle might not be there yet. That doesn't mean it's not locked. It just means Dex Screener hasn't updated yet. And that's not a bad thing. It just means Dex Screener hasn't updated yet, right? Dex Screener can be slow. So I'm going to show you another way as to how I check if liquidity is locked, and also how I check if mint authority is enabled or disabled. Now, mint authority means that if mint authority is enabled, or on, it means the developer can mint more tokens, meaning they can increase the amount of tokens within the project, basically. You don't want that, right? Because that affects price, right? If there's a billion tokens or 100 million tokens, however much tokens there are, you want that to stay the exact same number, right? Because otherwise it will affect price and they can do whatever they want. They can mint as many more tokens as they want, all right? So what you do is you'll copy the token address. So as you can see that little copy sign there, you'll just copy it. You can also find it in the URL if for whatever reason you can't find this button. That's the token address right there. And then I use a tool on Telegram called Soul Scanner. So I'll then copy and paste the token there. Hopefully you can actually see this. As you can see here, it automatically analyzed it for me within like a split second. And as you can see, it says mint authority off and liquidity pool 100% burnt, right? Which basically means it's locked, or whatever you want to call it, burnt, locked, same thing. If it's not, you'll notice there's a different emoji. It will probably be red, sort of to give you an alert, or it'll also say like, 0% burnt, 0% locked, like danger, so on and so forth. That's the type of tokens you want to avoid. Now, this tends to be a lot more up to date than Dex Screener. Soul Scanner tends to be quite quick. So what you can do is if there's ever a case where liquidity isn't locked, then you just want to hit refresh. Like sometimes it takes like a minute or two for them to actually burn it or for them to lock it, whatever you want to call it. So sometimes actually give it time. Don't go and check a coin and instantly see that it's not locked and be like, oh, on to the next. No, like they might actually lock it within the next minute or two. Just give them some time, especially if you're looking at a token that has literally just launched. All right. So that's that. Now, in terms of sell tax, sometimes this tool itself will show you if there's a sell tax. Sell tax basically means if you try to sell and the dev has put a sell tax in place, they will get a percentage of how much you sold. All right. Now, this is I wouldn't say it's a common scam, but it is a scam that can sometimes happen where if the developer has set the sell tax to, let's say, 50%, if you sell, they get to take 50% of how much you sold. All right. So let's say you're $1,000 into a coin and you try to sell that $1,000, they will get 500. Or if they put the sell tax to 100%, again, there's most of these tools will alert you anyway. I'll give you another tool. It's called Rick. So this is another tool I use. So if I analyze it, it's not as good at analyzing, in my opinion. You get a lot more detail with Soul Scanner. But as you can see here, it says mint with a tick and LP with a sort of burn sign. That means, again, mint authority, you're good. Liquidity pool, you're good as well. Now, sometimes Rick will tell you like danger to sell, so on and so forth. So yeah, these tools will tell you, but usually there's no sell tax because a lot of people can notice it easily, and these tools will tend to alert you as well. All right. Now that's stage number one. Now you can do this pretty quick. So I don't want you to think just because I took long to explain it that it's a very long process. As soon as you go into a coin, just check this or copy the address, go onto Soul Scanner and paste it. Done. All right. Next one is team wallets or airdrop. Now you'll notice already here, it says Dev, 5 Soul, and 2% Game Pop. That means they own 2% of Game Pop. But one thing that's quite concerning here is there's been 79% airdrops, right? They've airdropped 79% of it before launch or upon launch, whatever you want to call it. That's concerning because we don't know how many people that they've airdropped to still hold that token. So me personally, if I was to see this, I'd probably avoid this token because you could still consider that the team as holding 79% of supply, which isn't ideal, right? Now, another way for you to go about checking is, again, you can go to a tool called AI Solana Token Checker, and you'll want to click -CA, is that hyphen? Sorry, /CA, and then it will tell you provide a Solana contract address. Once you paste it, it will tell you how much supply was minted, and it will tell you how much the team inherited, right? So the team inherited in this token 0%, meaning, again, yeah, they didn't inherit any of it, but there's still ways around it where team can get tokens by, for example, sniping or buying the bottom as soon as they launch. So don't think just because this says 0 that a team actually holds 0%. I mean, at the end of the day, why would someone launch a token and not hold any of it themselves, right? They just know that if they bought it on the dev wallet, it would show on tools like this. So they could easily be holding it in another wallet. So what I'm going to show you is how I tend to determine whether someone or whether a dev still holds a lot of supply. So there's a few ways I do it. First of all, what I'll do is I'll actually check what the initial buy was, right? Because what tends to happen is if people won't buy on their dev wallet, they will just snipe the bottom with like a really, really, really high purchase. And a lot of people tend to not notice it. So what I'll do is I'll change this to, let's say, $500, meaning it will show me all the purchases above $500. And then I'll scroll to the bottom. And then if we can see here, I don't know if you guys can see that because this is in my way. If you can see here, there's not really been that high of a buy at the bottom, right? $1,000 isn't too high, but I'm talking like 3, 4, 5K, 10K. I've seen like 19K buys in the beginning. You do not want that sort of buy because that tends to buy like 80% of supply. And then what happens is they don't actually hold it all in one wallet. They will send it to multiple wallets, right? Which leads me on to the next point. What I also tend to do to see if team is holding or someone is holding a big chunk of supply but hiding it is I'll go to holders. And this isn't certainty, right? There's no certainty that this is what it means, what I'm about to show you. But if you scroll down holders and you see that there's a wallet that there's several wallets that hold a certain percent, and that there's multiple of them, it tends to be the team or someone in particular that's holding in several wallets. So I'll give you an example. Hopefully I can find one. So let's go to a random coin. Hopefully I can find it. Let's go here, for example. Go to holders. All right, so not this one. Not this one. Let's see. As you guys can see, I'm literally trying to do it live in front of you, so you don't think, oh, this is all planned, this is not common. I want to show you like it is actually common, but sometimes it's not. All right. Cool. Let's see. Go to holders here. No, this won't have this. All right. Anyway, the reason why these won't have as well is because they've already died out. So what I'm looking for has probably already sold. But I'll give you an example here. So for example, as you can see here, there's 3 wallets that hold 0.56%. Now, obviously, that's fairly low, but what I'll tend to see when I'm like finding coins that launched like 10, 15 minutes ago is you'll find like 15 wallets all holding 1.22%. That is not a coincidence, right? That's just someone who sent over. So let's just say this, for example, they bought 20% of supply and then they split it 15 ways between 15 different wallets, and it ended up equating to 1.22% in each wallet. That's exactly what we're looking for. All right. You want to avoid coins like that because someone actually holds 20% supply. It just doesn't show, right? Which leads me on to the next point, top holders, right? You also want to check who the top holders are because you want to be able to determine like how big of a how much do other people hold, because the more someone holds, the more control they have over the coin. And I don't mean that as in like they can control price, but if they do anything, and I mean by do anything, I mean if they sell, they can impact price massively, right? So if you go back onto the tools that I showed you, so if we go onto Rick, for example, you'll see that it shows you the top 5 holders, right? So we can see 13.6%, 4.1%, 2.6%, 2.5%, 2.4%, right? You never want this number to be above 40%. Even when it's above 30%, I'm a bit cautious. Above 40%, it's like very, very high risk. You're like, why is it above 40%? But above 30%, below 30%, you're like, okay, this is all right. Below 20%, you're like, this is good, but I need to do my checks to see if someone actually holds very small amounts in multiple different wallets, right? Because remember, people are smart. They want their token to look appealing when you analyze it for you to instantly think, oh, this is a good coin, let me buy in, right? Be cautious. That's why rugs tend to happen nowadays, because people aren't cautious enough. Now, you might think, oh, why is this not a red flag because of 13.6%? Usually the top percent, so you'll see this one, for example, is 14%, right? That's radium, right? So don't think that's an actual holder. It tends to be radium. So don't worry about the first percent. What tends to happen is second percent onwards are the actual holders. So whether it's a team, whether it's just random holders, whatever it may be. I personally would be cautious if an individual holder holds more than 6% in one wallet. That to me is, again, it makes me cautious because they can have a huge impact on price, especially if they don't know how to actually trade properly. Like they might be in the token for the long run, but some people will actually sell their whole 6% all in one go, which is not what you're meant to do. And I'll get onto how you can buy and sell in other videos, but you're meant to sell gradually, right? But if someone holds 6% of supply, I don't care if it's worth $600 or $60,000. If they hold 6% of supply and they sell 6% all at once, it's going to cause a huge dump in price. And usually it'll get bought up. But what will tend to happen is once there's a dump in price, it causes fear in people who's buying it. It triggers like sell orders, and price will start to drop heavy, and it will drop fast. That's why I tend to avoid it. Whereas when you've got tokens where people only hold like 2%, 1%, 1.5%, especially in the top holders, you know that it's fairly evened out between all the other holders. So, no one can really sell and make a huge impact on price. All right. Now, that was step number 2. Again, sorry if it's long, but it's fairly quick. I just want to give you as much detail as possible. So remember, team wallets or airdrops, you want to check for those. You want to check for like distributed wallets. Has someone bought supply and maybe distributed it into other wallets? Like, go onto the top holders and see, is there like a lot of 1.2% all the same, right? If they're like 1.19, 1.18, 1.16, 1.14, that's normal. But if they're all the same, that's not a coincidence. Early snipes or early buys, right? Is there someone that bought a whole chunk of supply right at the bottom? That's probably the team, all right? And then top holders, right? Just check the top holders, see if there's anyone holding a substantial amount, all right? This, you can all do it within a couple of minutes. So let's say, for example, this token just came out 2 minutes ago. All right, what I do, real quick, copy the token address, paste it here. While that's loading up, go back here, see, okay, liquidity is locked. Let me just see, is there like a huge buy at the beginning? Oh, there are actually quite some huge buys. Let's set this to minimum 500. Did anyone buy a lot? Okay, 729, 729. and it's all from the same wallets. All right, that's quite concerning because someone probably holds a lot of supply, as you can see. All right, again, easy. I did that within a minute. Go back here. Okay, mint, I'm good. Oh, I didn't even do it on the right place, but let's just say here, sorry. But yeah, go back to where it analyzed. All right, mint is off, 100% burn. Oh, but high individual holder, as I said, right? 40%, 45% airdrops. Not that good, right? Easy. Literally did it in less than a minute. All right, that's how easy it is. Now, third one, you've done all the necessary checks in terms of like checking out the team, checking out whether it's actually legit in terms of liquidity and so on and so forth. Now we can go into the actual like chart and the actual like fundamentals of a token. So number one, which isn't too important, but it is a good indicator as to whether a token is good or not, is like socials, website, Twitter, Telegram. Now, please bear in mind, developers need to pay to put their website, Twitter, and Telegram on DEX. So sometimes there's a delay for two reasons. Number one, they've already paid for it and they're just waiting for it to load up, right? Number two is they haven't paid for it yet because they want to see if they can get momentum. Then they'll pay for it, because what tends to happen is when someone pays for the DEX update for them to put their socials up, price then starts to pump. But what's the point of them doing that if there's no momentum, right? They want to get momentum in first. Then once they update it, it's going to pump like crazy. And that's what they want, all right? So if for whatever reason you go onto a project, a coin, token, whatever you want to call it, let's just click on one. Let's just see if it doesn't have a website. Well, seems like everyone updates their website very quick nowadays, as it seems. You know, if you were trading meme coins a couple weeks ago, 2 months ago, not everyone updates it really quick. But anyway, let's just say there's a case where someone hasn't actually updated their thing as soon as. What I tend to do is I copy the token address and I'll go to a website called Bird Eye, right? And I would then search the token in, yes, I am a human. I then search the token in here. And usually 99% of the time, you can go to the description here on the left and all their Twitter, social, so on and so forth will be there. If it's not there, then you can assume that they probably don't have one or have any, but they might still create one. Again, remember, sometimes people just want to wait to see if their token is going to get hype, which I don't necessarily agree with. Why? Right? They should do it regardless. That's the whole point of a token. But sometimes if you're more of a high risk taker and you think a coin has potential because it's following a particular trend, right? You might be willing to take the risk and you might want to buy into it before they even make any socials, because that's when you can hit the huge gains, all right? After you've obviously done all your checks. Next one is there momentum, but also is the momentum real, right? So what people don't actually know is that you can fake volume on these coins. And how you can tend to notice that is, number one, check if it's the same wallets buying and selling, which is quite tedious to do. I don't usually do it personally myself, but you can literally just go through and just see, is it the same wallet buying and selling? I don't do that. As I said, I'm being honest. But what I tend to do is I'll tend to go through some of these projects and you'll notice sometimes, like for example, this one, why would anyone be buying like 10 cents buys or 20 cents buys or 43 cents sells and so on and so forth? No one will really do that. This is fake volume, right? As you can see, similar wallets doing the buys. Who buys $5 worth of a coin? What these guys are trying to do in this project is they're trying to increase the transactions so it looks good on Dex Screener. Because if you're on this page, you might see, 1,500 makers, that's good, right? When really and truly it isn't, because it's all fake volume, all right? So you go into coin and a lot of the time you'll find these things, these things here, because these can be automated, right? And you'll see it's all from different wallets, which means they increase the amount of makers in it. But really and truly, it's just fake volume. So be cautious of that. When it's fake volume, it probably means there's hardly anyone actually buying it, real people. It's just the team behind it or the dev himself trying to make it seem like people are buying when no one actually is. And then when you buy, he might just sell his whole supply, so he at least made a profit, right? So that's the 3-step process on how I avoid rugs. And yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I don't know if you can still see my face. For some reason, I can only see my profile picture now. But yeah, any questions, let me know. And any other video recommendations to do with meme coins, let me know. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.